Hi, and welcome to the Westway Man Cave for another edition of a talk through the Kilmarnock music scene. Today, we welcome someone who we're really well known to any of the bands that frequented Sorco in the 80s. He's a musician, he is a sound engineer, he's a producer, and he virtually ran Sorco in the 80s anyway. His name is Billy Law, which I only recently found out. I've only known for about 40 years, but everyone will know him as Popper.
Aye.
Welcome along, Popper. Thanks for coming.
Popper, what was your first musical memory?
My first musical memory was my granddad buying me a couple of singles when I was 3-year-old, and it was the Beatles, I'm Down, and The Last Time by the Stones, and that was me. I was off and running, and then they got me a wee guitar out of Woolworths. It was plastic, but I could pose with it. And that was it. That was me. I'm wanting to be a rock star. That was it.
What kind of bands inspired you to want to become a musician?
Just music inspired me to be a musician. There wasn't any particular band. I've always had really Catholic taste when it came to music. If it was good, then I was up for it. I liked it. I mean, just ridiculous range of music I tended to avoid the kind of mainstream quite quickly because I was really lucky. There was a couple stayed across the road, and though we had remember the old radiogram things in the living room, and I had some singles and a couple of wee albums that had been bought for me. The people across the road knew I was really into music. And they used to let me go over and sit and listen with headphones on while they were watching the telly. And they played me off things for Genesis, OCB, like early blues stuff. Just ridiculous. They had a massive collection. And that's where I really get into lots of different types of music. But it wasn't one band that made me want to play. It was just, I wanted to be involved. It was just the joy of playing. You know, it wasn't one band that made me do it.
And how did your first band come about?
Well, I got invited to, I was jamming with some guys in the all-night bakery where everybody used to go in and get their donuts and rolls when they were steaming, heading home at night. And a couple of guys I knew rented the rooms above it and turned them into rehearsal rooms. So I used to jam in there. Didn't join a band at that point. But eventually Larry Primrose asked me to join his band, which was The Business, to play guitar, and he was going to change to bass. So I ended up playing with him, which was good for a while. And they went from like having a 5-piece to having a brass section and percussion and all that. And it was good fun. It was good fun.
Larry's name's popped up a few times, no pun intended. But he's a character, Larry, isn't he?
Well, he was involved in the studio as well in a big way, you know, and so everybody will know Larry through that, if nothing else. And eventually Larry left, and it became just a 3-piece, which was 22nd Story, and I ended up being the singer and the main writer. It was myself, Peter Dunlop, and Chris Cardle. And we had a great time. We played a lot of venues, did an awful lot of gigs, got some interest, but then after we come back from London, I got glandular fever, and that was just all the momentum had went out. I only knew I had glandular fever when I coughed up blood when I was playing Harleys in there. Coughed blood all over the mic. I don't think the PA guy was very happy. So that kind of lost momentum after that, and kind of the whole band lost momentum. But I stopped playing for a long time as well after that, partly to do with the fact that running a band's like trying to wrangle cats. It's so hard, just people turning up late at rehearsals or turning up not having learned the things they were supposed to have learned, and you try not to get angry, but yeah.
Or no turning up.
Or no turning up, or turning up and going, I thought you had my bass.
Yeah.
When have I ever had your bass? Yeah. That was at a gig. I thought you're 60 mile from Kilmarnock. I thought you had my bass. Yeah, that sort of thing just really didn't endear itself to me. So I stopped playing for a long time. I stopped playing altogether for a few years. And then ended up, I was working, I got the job doing pro audio and sound control, and we ended up just having a jam one night and played a couple of Thin Lizzy songs, and I was playing bass and singing, and we ended up going, let's do this. So we got a band together called it Fat Betty, which was a Thin Lizzy tribute band, and we did great. We played an awful lot of gigs. Played George Square, and shared a dressing room with the cheerleaders for the Scottish American football team. That was a highlight. That was really good.
You do look a bit like Phil on it.
No, I'm a bit pale.
Aye, but
But somebody did. We were playing McSorley's in Glasgow, and it's one of the funniest gigs because the World Pipe Band Championships was playing. It was happening in Bellahouston Park, and just when we started, there must have been an Irish band walking past, and they must have phoned all their mates. So the place ended up full of Irish guys for the pipe bands. And it took me half an hour to get down to the toilet at the break, and I had to wring my shirt out. It was just ridiculous. And somebody threw an afro wig up, which I thought, yeah, I'll put it on for a laugh. And I put it on, great, yeah. But I put it on, and we started the second set with "Don't Believe a Word" into "The Boys Are Back in Town," into we started "Sorry" with the Cowboy song, into "Boys Are Back in Town," into "Don't Believe a Word," which was about 15-20 minutes. And about 3 minutes in, my head started sweating somebody turned a tap on, and it was all pouring down. So that got me back into playing. So since then, mostly in bands, I've played bass, which I love. I love playing bass live. A bit of acoustic stuff as well. So, yeah.
So see, back in the 80s, what was your kind of favourite places to play locally and further afield?
Well, it's now the Garage in Glasgow. We played that a few times. That was a good venue to play. Harley, which now Harley's, was a good one to play down in there. Though air audiences can be a bit funny.
yeah.
You can where are they? What's it? And then they'll come up at the end and go, "That was brilliant. Where were you?" It's really weird. In Kilmarnock, we played all the usual venues, but what we did do as a 3-piece, and as actually as the 7-piece, was we anywhere that opened up new, we were in there, and like Parker's, Pillars, all these places we were in and played there first, and then everybody else followed up. No bands like yourselves. It was far too posh for the likes of you lot.
Yes, we were the scummy bands. Young whippersnappers.
But it was just, we would play anywhere. It was just, there was no real favourite. It was just, sometimes you could play the same place twice and have a crap reaction one time, and then it'll be great the next time. Suppose it would be how pissed they were.
Who was there?
Nah, just how pissed.
No, just
Back in the 80s, you ran Sorco Studios.
Well, no. I ran the rehearsal rooms.
You ran the rehearsal
I was
room.
involved as an engineer.
You recorded a lot of different bands. What's your memories for that time?
Most bands are made up of 5 mouths and 1 ear. That's that.
present company except.
But it's quite funny for bands that aren't used to be in the studios. They tend to focus in on their instrument and they don't hear it as a whole. So I used to kick the bands out after the session before we started mixing, and I would do a quick mix. And the amount of times I did a mix and saved it, or couldn't save it. It wasn't digital; it was on your tape. But did a 2-track mix. And then the band would want, turn me up, I can't hear my guitar, I can't even. So you end up doing everything that they want, and you tell them it's not going to work, but they insist. And then they have to pay and come back in and get it redone, but I'd already done it, so. But there was some great bands were in playing. Yourselves, you always knew what you were doing when you come in. But some bands come in and didn't know what they were really wanting to record. They hadn't put the work in, and that's the main thing. People like yourselves, it was well rehearsed. You come in, you did it, you didn't waste time.
I think that was probably because I was quite stingy. I got kind of drilled into them. We need to know this, but we knew you pretty well. Southern Approach knew you pretty well. We saw you every week, a couple of times a week, and you knew us, which was good. And we had the songs we knew we wanted to record, and you probably heard them. And
well, I'd seen you live, so I knew what you wanted to sound like.
Exactly. So it was kind of a no-brainer for us. But I didn't see the point in coming on the rehearse. And it was always a pleasure.
It always surprised me that when bands did come in under rehearsal, they couldn't learn the parts properly.
Just wasting money.
The amount of time, and the amount of times I ended up that they asked me to play the guitar part or the bass part, it was just ridiculous.
You played keys quite a lot, because we never all thought of it. Well, at that time, putting stuff like that on recordings, I remember you put some stuff on, we were like, this is amazing.
I wasn't a great keyboard player.
I know, but you did.
Just one finger, one thumb keep moving, but enough to sort of maybe fill out a part in that song,
you know. It was really good. And
mostly bass and guitar.
And giving a bit of confidence to bands. But remember the time of the rehearsal rooms, we were talking about it earlier, how just the structure of the rehearsal room was brilliant. I mean, the atmosphere, they were a character, didn't they?
When I first, when the studio first asked me to look after the rehearsal rooms were basically, they were just rooms that used to be flats. Nothing had been done to them apart from maybe egg boxes stuck in the walls and things. They were pretty tidy. But I think it was something like £15 per band.
That's right.
And there were maybe 2 or 3 bands per room. But that £15 got you, that was your room. The 3 bands had that room, and you sorted it out between yourselves how you went about working out who was rehearsing when. So you could go in there, like drummers would go in and spend the whole day there. You know, it was really good, and I think that's maybe why so many drummers for Kilmarnock make a living as drummers, because they had a place they could go and play constantly. But it was hilarious. I mean, I used to go up into town on a Saturday for a beer with my mates, and walking up the centre of town, it was hilarious. You just see guys for bands diving into shops, running out the way. Oh no, the money's due, run! It happened all the time. It was hilarious. But never really had any problems. The band's always paid, eventually. We never had to get heavy.
We always knew who didn't have money. Just bring extra. Not telling me you, Neil.
Don't mention any names.
I didn't mention Neil.
But it was great for bands because, as I say, you could practice as many times as nobody else was practicing. So, I mean, practicing most of the days, there was somebody in the rooms doing something, whether it was just a drummer or a guy trying to get his bass sound right or whatever. And you could leave all your gear there.
That's right.
You know, none of this having to carry everything.
It's handy for gigs as well. She's brought the band to the studios, dumped it all in there, dumped it all back off at night. We used to be parties in the studios, did you know that?
I didn't know that. So did
I think you were at them, actually.
There was a few even turning. There was like Chinese cartons all over the place and curry sauce up the walls and things. But eventually they decided to spend some money on it, so we ran about and redecorated and knocked some walls down, and still the same way. It was still most of the rooms that became, instead of 4 rooms, it became 6 rooms. I think 2 of them we kept kind of for bands just coming in on the off chance, but 4 rooms were kept working the same way, which was great, and they were much nicer places to play in, and they had heating. The price went up, but still the bands could afford it. It's just this trying to get rehearsal space now is pretty hard, and you're getting in, you're maybe using amps that you're not used to, or won't give you the right sound. There you could go in and actually get the way the band was supposed to sound right, and have your amps set up the way you wanted it to sound live. So when you got to a venue, it was kind of half done already, which made a big difference, I think, for a lot of people. But just being able to go in and leave your gear there, even leave your guitar, nobody touched it, nobody used your amp.
I beg to differ.
Well, you're going about going, there's a guitar.
No, it was Harky Neil were in, actually. We interviewed them, and Harky was saying he took his bass out, and it was it took him about an hour to get it tuned back in. He said somebody was playing my bass. So I think we tended to take our guitars with us.
I tended to take my guitar. Well, I left it a few times, and nobody touched it. Maybe they thought I'd raise the rent. I don't know.
I left my mic in there, but my mic was always out of tune for some reason. I don't know. Don't know what happened to it.
I was a meter pastor and I need to adjust.
I see.
You played a monthly residency at the Scotia Bar in Glasgow. Tell us a wee bit about
Oh,
that.
that's just now. That's just like I'm playing bass in a kind of a rock band. Just pub band,
Now,
basically.
what kind of stuff do you play?
Everything from Hendrix through to, I mean, what else have we been doing? Hendrix, oh God, we have to play Freebird sometimes. Trying to think what else it is.
You still play a bit of Thin Lizzy?
Strangely, no, in this band, not at the moment. They're talking about it, but we might do. Thin Lizzy's, trying to remember what the set list is. I better remember because I'm playing them on. Oh, that's weird.
You went blank.
I went totally blank. Led Zeppelin, that sort of stuff. Some kind of...
AC, no?
No, because the guy can't sing it.
All right.
I could sing it, but he's not asked me, and I'm not one to step on toes.
No.
But
Albie watches this.
nah, probably not. Probably not.
That's what I was going to ask. Just moving back. See the bands you record. What other bands did you record? Did you be producing in Sorco? Apart from us, obviously.
Well, so wouldn't saying producing's a bit
Or recording.
recording, doing engineering. I mean, do a bit of production like yourselves. If I knew the band, I'd say, well, why do you put a bit of key, or why don't you try this?
Maybe it was different for us. I don't know.
Well, it depends. Sometimes that you could tell the band was open to some ideas. Like they would be talking about something like, "Oh, the chorus doesn't sound right," and I would suggest something, and go, "Oh, that's all right," or you'd just go, "No," but I hardly call it production. But engineering, I mean, I think I did most of the bands in Kilmarnock and round about Ayrshire. Did a lot of stuff for guys in Glasgow and stuff like that as well.
I remember Aztec Camera made the first ever demo at Sorco. Was you?
I wasn't involved in that.
No. Was you involved with any bands that went on to bigger things?
As an assistant engineer, but no as main engineer, kind of. Not that I can remember. I'm sure there were, but it's all a bit of a blur.
Is it true Barry McGuigan and the Boxer made a record in Sorco Studios?
He might have done, but we might have been before my time. You'd need to get a hold of Clark Sorley. He's the one that would know all these ones. You know, the high profile ones. He tended to be. Clark would keep them for himself because Clark had a great set of ears. Clark did the Alice Cooper live at the Apollo album. It was him that recorded and engineered that. It's a really good, really good engineer.
Yeah.
The class does some amazing stuff.
Yes.
He has just done a lot of stuff.
He's a really good. He is a good producer, and he, as I say, he's got great ears. I mean, the way I got involved was I'd been studying electronics at uni, and then decided I didn't want to do that for a living. Sitting writing reports and silicon chips in a wee sort of fluorescent room. Just no, I didn't want to do that. So I left and got involved in that place above the bakery. And then when Clark was getting his new desk put in, the Amic Angela, I went in to help them. And Clark sussed I was interested, and he handed me the manual to the Angela and said, read that. And then he invited me in to sit in with him in a few sessions, and I became a tape op for a few sessions. Then one day he said, "What are you doing on Saturday?" "Oh, nothing, right. Put in, there was a session on." And I went in, and he said, "Right, I'll see you later." What? And that was it. And he was great that way, encouraging bands and encouraging people to get involved and just be part of the studio.
I've always been a Clark and quite an encouraging guy. He was good that way.
Yeah.
So was George.
Yeah, they all were.
And Ian. They're really encouraging guys, especially a younger guy like myself at the time. And they were really helpful, and yeah, you try to pass that on to younger bands.
It's amazing how many people from that time went on to be professional musicians. A lot of drummers, as I say, went on. Fergie, Andy McGlasson, Alan Dale, and they're all. I mean, I have to say, Andy McGlasson's touring with Cliff Richard. That's a real step down for him. That's a big step down for him. But no, they're all doing doing great. I mean, there was guitarists who became session guys like Martin Waugh, and I just...
Was it Martin that played initially when the Civilians was? Was that
It might have been.
quite a younger guy?
He was very...
And Alan Dick replaced him because he couldn't... Was it for down South Ayrshire way?
I think so.
He was good. He was great guitarist, that boy.
He was really good.
He's professional now, is he?
Aye.
I wouldn't have no surprised, to be fair.
Aye. But there's just a lot of guys went on to be to do music for a profession, for a living, or something music adjacent, like me doing having a company that does recording studios.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How has music changed you?
I don't know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for music. I really haven't a clue, because it's been part of my life since I was 3, maybe before, because there was a piano in the house, so I was probably laying into that before it. So I can't imagine what it would have been like without it, so I can't say how it would have changed me.
Are you still as passionate now about music as you were when you were younger?
Yeah, easily.
See, when you're in the studio recording a band that you're not that keen on, does it become a chore?
No.
No?
It becomes a chore if they're not rehearsed, if they're not playing properly. I mean, even if you can't play great, the parts that you want to play, learn them. Make sure you can play them, and I'll be happy. But it's the guys that come in and you're doing multiple takes. I get out of the recording business when it was becoming digital rather than tape-based. And it was primarily because suddenly people were coming in and going, "I'll just do 5 or 6 takes and then you can cut them up and put them together." No, I don't want to get involved in that. So that's when I kind of stopped doing it professionally. Because that's what was happening. I would do 5 guitar solos and just cut it up. And so many decisions that were usually already made before the recording started. I mean, there would be a bit of a bit of creation at the time, but most of it would be fixed as to what was going to happen. So much of that became, we'll do it and we'll fix it in the mix. No. Just learn to play, do it right. And I started getting annoyed at that.
Have you ever gave up on a band that's been in the studio?
No, because they're paying me. I just have to sort of bite the bullet and say, right, okay, yeah, we'll do it what you want, yeah.
And see, whenever a band's in and they're playing and you think to yourself, this would be better, that would be better, do you, once they go away, do you...
No, never ever touch it.
No.
That's somebody's dream. That's something, even if it's, a lot of bands would go in and it's just, they're doing it for themselves. They're not doing it to promote themselves. They just want to record the stuff that they've written. Or sometimes they come in and just do covers. That's their money. That's what they want. And I'm not going to take it away from them by tweaking things.
Even if it would make it better.
I would talk to them about what might make it better sometimes. So I would make suggestions, but it's end of the day, it's their choice.
But a lot of these younger bands that have been, this will be their first time in a studio, and they wouldn't be really wise to all the different things that could be done.
No.
Whereas you would be.
Then you would
that.
talk to them, yeah. You would suggest things to them and say, well, you can do this if you want. Or like, I remember one band being shocked, you could drop in a guitar solo. Somebody playing this guitar solo made a mistake, says, it's okay, we'll go back a bit and just play along and then I'll drop you in. And go, what? Just I'll press record and it'll record from when I do that. So the bit that you got right will be fine. Just been amazed you could do that. But a lot of bands, they were first time, and it's their money, so I'm not going to burst their bubble. Yeah.
And do you feed off their excitement of playing for the first time they're in recording?
No, you're too busy. Like, while they're getting excited, you're running about laying cables and setting mics up and trying to get sounds right and just making sure. The problem with being an engineer then, and probably now as well, is you were caught between a rock and a hard place. You weren't only just the engineer. If I was going in and being a tape op for Clark, then that was different. I'd go in and I'd set up mics and we'd talk about things and we knew what was happening. But you ended up being a producer Some things you ended up playing because they asked you to play it because they couldn't quite do it. And if you were doing something for a record company, you were caught between the record companies, what they wanted, what the band wanted. The studio obviously wants a good product going out to publicise their studio, and you're trying to please all these people at the same time, and some of them had different ideas, and that could get frustrating.
What's been your musical highlight?
Personally, or
from all your time in the music business, what's been your musical highlight?
Sound approach, just
No.
approach.
That was we had a laugh.
We did have a laugh.
We had a good laugh, and
Many.
we got a lot done.
We did get a lot
We got
done.
a hell of a lot done, and all within time.
Yeah.
I suppose sharing the changing room in George Square with the Scottish, was it Scottish Monarchs, the Scottish American football team?
The Scottish Monarchs for that's it,
No,
yeah.
we shared the dressing room with their cheerleaders.
And that's your musical highlight.
Aye. I'm telling you. What a day. What a day. Because we like Thin Lizzy tribute band, and their song was Boys Are Back in Town.
Is this before you met your wife?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh no, it was after I met the wife. But
Oh, was it? Well, maybe not better cutting this bit out.
I wasn't married, but but no, it was really good. No, I suppose it was just playing with other people's kind of personal music highlight, because that's what everybody needs to do. They need to get out playing with other people, preferably playing with somebody that's better than you, and understands, who remembers what it's like to be starting out. But playing with other people that's what it's all about.
What advice have you got for young bands?
Oh, that one.
That
As a player, go out and play with other people. Even get out your comfort zone. I mean, I ended up doing gigs I should never been doing. Like, I remember Spike coming into the rehearsal room one night, Spike Wayne, and saying, this was on the Thursday. He said, we've got a gig on Sunday. Can you play guitar on it? Yeah, okay. And then he gave me a list of songs, and it was all things like Weather Report, and I was like, wait a minute, Billy Cobham, what? And having to go away and like learn for the Sunday like 14 songs that were of that calibre, Birdland and Stratus and all this stuff, and the challenge was great, and I managed it. I think I played okay, but it was just getting that challenge made me a better player, and I ended up playing quite a few gigs with Spike. And it was never a kind of genre that I'd wanted. But
They were all class musicians.
they were
Spike
just stunning. Like,
and Stevie and all these guys.
yeah.
Stu, the Lawton bass, Paul McClure, all these guys, George Crown, they're just class musicians.
Yeah.
Class musicians. And I find that we talked about earlier that, the civilians, and that just come out of Southern Approach, and we did one gig that I got very drunk at in Ayr, if you remember, and you were back and he was in percussion and Glenn and drums and Alan Dick and Andy Murray, and I was like totally overawed. Do you know what I mean? Like, these guys are brilliant musicians around, you're up there jumping the boot. Still think there wasn't. Do you know what I mean? A roll and roll, but and it was great. It probably made me a better singer. It could have made me worse, to be fair. It was good fun.
You were a good singer.
don't be saying yourself.
We'll be saying on you.
I just said that sort to say it was good. I hardly changed that much, Popper. But that was good fun. That was a good laugh.
Yeah. But playing with Fat Betty was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was before the real burst of like covers bands that were like tribute bands, and it was just great.
I'm a big fan of Thin Lizzy.
But what shocked me
great
was,
band.
and what made me angry and shocked me was, at gigs there were all these 14, 15, 16-year-olds, and they're all, you can see them mouthing every word. And after the gig, how do you know? Oh man, that's where it started. My dad showed me, and I realised this is what made me angry. I realised they had this massive back catalogue they could go and look at. I had Mario Lanza and Nelson Eddy, and my mum was into Elvis a wee bit, but that was it.
Yeah. Well, that's true, that.
And they've got this massive library they can go back and listen to. My grandniece, she started getting into vinyl, and it's all that stuff she's listening to, no, all that stuff she's buying. Just classic bands.
So what's, sorry.
That's just, it was good. It was good.
So what's your plans for the future, musically?
Musically, I just keep playing. I enjoy playing live. I'm not trying to be a rock god anymore, or I'm not trying to be a musician that's doing original. I'm just enjoying getting out and playing. Sometimes I get just with an acoustic guitar, sometimes it's in the band I'm playing bass. So yeah, it's just enjoying myself.
Play all acoustic gigs?
Yeah.
Glasgow or?
Anywhere that'll kind of half listen. Don't do it that often.
You get your guitar here, go and give the guitar and get him do a wee song.
You like to do a wee song? I don't know, is he one, preferably?
Yeah, well, I used to do a solo version of Sarah, but just to a
Classic.
guitar.
That's good.
But I'd have to practice the solo on it again. Just playing the chords and
You want to play the guitars, didn't you?
Nah, you're all right. Unless you want to pay me. I mean, I want to.
No, not paying you.
You know, coffee.
Like what? Aye?
On that note, Popper, it's been a pleasure.
Cheers,
Thank you very much.
Thanks, old pal.
If you're going for a beer sometime.
We are. Barry's paid.